What's up, YouTube family? It is S.Craft once again with another barber tutorial, and today we're going to do a high skin taper using nothing but detachable blades. And here recently I bought an Oster octane with as many detachable blades as I could possibly get, and I'm telling you what, I love this clipper. It just mows through hair. I think it cuts the cutting time almost in half. It is smooth. I've had some challenges with the blades pulling some hair, but I've kind of adjusted the blades and actually switched out the cutting blade with ceramic cutting blades, and they seem to be working really nice. All of my customers are like, man, I can't even feel these clippers cutting my hair. So they're so smooth, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. I started out with a 3.5 blade on the top, which is equivalent to about a 2.5 with the wall premium guard. So everything that I'm going to talk about the blades, let's just go ahead and relate them to the premium guards just to make it simple. So here I have a number 2 on there, a number 2 blade, which is equivalent to say like a 1.5 premium guard. Sorry about the blur, it's adjusting. And so I did the 3.5 blade on top, and then I did the 2 blade right at the parietal ridge area and just kind of almost rounded it in. Just making sure that as I was rounding toward the top, that I simply kind of followed the curve of the head, off the head, not all the way into the 3.5, but just, in that parietal ridge area, just cutting into it, but then going off the slope. Then I went into a 1.5 blade, so a 3.5 blade, a 2 blade, and now a 1.5 blade. Right there in the parietal ridge area, just to blend right into that number 2. Now check this out. With the blades, it's a little different. It takes a little time to get used to. Now I'm moving into a 1A blade, which is equivalent to a number 1 premium guard. So it's a little bit difficult to get used to. A lot of times I like to flick at the hair with the teeth of the blade, which isn't the best habit to get into. However, with these blades, you really can't do that. So you'll see at the bottom, I kind of dig down very lightly. I don't want to cut them or scratch them or anything, but I kind of, dig the teeth of the blade into the hair to scoop that hair. But when it comes close to the parietal ridge area where I want that fade to be, I start leaning more of my weight to the hilt of the blade, which is the center of the blade, or to the heel of the blade. And I just I want to put more of that pressure so that the teeth aren't pushing on the head, if that makes sense. I want to make sure that I'm using more of the heel of the blade and kind of flicking out where I want that blend to be. But it's so cool with these blades that if you use the fade down technique, they almost blend right into each other, which is awesome. It just saves time. And as you can see, man, I mean, it's just mowing through hair. It's real cool. I have noticed, though, that even though it does mow through hair and it's really smooth, there are times that it seems, especially with the longer guards like the 3.5 guard, that I'll miss some hair. So I may have to come back in with, say, a number 2 guard or a 2.5 guard to just hit those, longer hairs, which, is a little frustrating. But it still saves a lot of time. Still, I'm on the number 1 here, or the 1A blade, which is equivalent to a number 1 guard, and just blending into that 1.5 blade that I used earlier. But like I said, I went ahead and just decided to do the whole head because, man, it does move quick, man. And I sped it up just a little bit so you could see the whole cut process. But I add a little I add a little hair color also, just to give that enhancement. I do his eyebrows in this video. So I mean, these things, they cut down the work, man. So if you're interested in getting them, they do cost a little bit of money, but I think they're a great investment for knocking down bulk really quick. So right now I'm just cleaning up the very front of that edge with a number 1 guard, just flicking up against the grain just to clean them hairs that might poke out, and it gives you just a better surface, or canvas rather, to do a clean lineup. Also, you saw me go back down against the grain, or with the grain rather, And that was simply just to clean up any of the loose hairs that maybe the clipper didn't get. Sometimes when you're going against the grain, seems like you can go against it all day long and there's still little hairs that poke up, and you want that to be as smooth as possible. There again, we pay attention to detail because detail is what sets us apart. But if you can't get them like that, sometimes it's because the hair's, going in the opposite direction. So lightly take a number one if the hair is that short. Lightly take a number one and go with the grain of the hair, so that way you can clean it up. Now I went ahead and did the front edge. Now here's a little tip to cut down time when you're doing a skin taper. I did the front edge and boom. I don't want to put my edgers down. I want to move right into just prepping this thing for the taper. So I'm just going all the way around the head. I went ahead and cut my first guideline, going around the ear now, doing the edge. And then I'll cut my first guideline in the back of the head, just moving along quickly. Now these lines don't have to be perfectly straight. I know some people, they'll spend an hour on trying to make sure that the first guideline is straight. I want them to be as clean as possible, but the reality is we're going to blend that line out, and you can always take out, some little imperfections later on. But now see, I knocked out that guideline in the back, coming right around the ear with my edge. And see, I went back. I was like, well, that looks a little lower on that side. There again, it's not perfectly straight, but it's good enough to blend out, and no one will ever know the difference. So now I'm just going around the ear, and then I'll move right into creating that first guideline for the right side of his head. Simple process that cuts time down. One of the tricks to cutting down time, use whatever you have in your hand for whatever you can use it for, right? We want to make sure that we, cut down time. Why? Because time is money. The quicker I can get someone in and out, boom. So now here you go. I got my Andis Profoil shaver in my hand. I shave one side, shave right there around the edge just to clean that up. Shave the bottom out. We're just balding it out, moving it along quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and bald this side out, and boom, the process is done. Now I come in with a OA blade or a 0A blade. And the 0A blade, the OA blade, is equivalent to just an open blade. So if you're using regular clippers and you open your blade all the way up, that's what the OA blade is. So we're setting that second guideline now. And I did it on one side, moved quickly to the back, establish that second guideline on the back, and then I'm going to turn them and hit the next side. So man, we're just working our way around the head. I know oftentimes in videos we like to show one side at a time, but I want to show you kind of how I work whenever I'm not being recorded. I just move. And the reason we usually do one side at a time is because whenever you move the camera around or the head around, you have to adjust the camera. It cuts, into your time and everything else. So it's easier just to record one side, then turn them, adjust the camera and the settings, all that good stuff, and then cut that side. So as you can see, I went ahead and while I was on that side, I took the OA blade off, and now I'm using the 000 blade, which is equivalent to just a closed blade. So we had the OA, which is an open blade, and then a 000, which is like a closed blade. So no guard, close your blade all the way up. That's what we're equivalent to right now. So now I switched over from a 000 blade to a 50 blade. Some people call them 3/0 or 000 or 5/0. So this would be the 5/0 blade or 50 blade, and just doing the fade down technique from the second guideline I created. So once again, it was an OA or an open blade, 30, which was a closed blade, and now we're using the 50, which is like your T outliners or something like that. And I'm just trying to knock that line out. Because I use the shaver, I'm not going to be able to get that line out all the way with this. So I'll come back in with my trimmers and with my shaver just to make sure I knock that line all the way out. So now I'm using the 1 blade. So earlier I used the 1A, which is equivalent to a number 1 guard. Now I'm using the 1 blade, which is equivalent to like a 1/16 guard or a half guard. I'm just trying to knock that little guideline out that we had earlier, and you know, I'll come in. One thing that I've noticed with these detachable blades is that you need to work your angles. So like right now I'm going straight up against it, but you'll see, you know, I'll start turning the blade. I'll use the corners of the blade, or I'll turn the blade a little sideways, you know, and go in both directions just to try to knock that line out a little more. But yeah, man, I love these things. Hey, while I'm doing this, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I'm trying to drop as much content for you guys as possible. I definitely want to help you better yourselves, and I appreciate each and every person, man, that watches these videos, that comment, that like, that share, you know, that subscribe. It's such a huge blessing to me, and you know, I just want to be a blessing to you guys. So, you know, I went ahead and knocked this out. Now going to do the same thing on the other side. Still have my number 1 blade on there, just trying to knock that out, and it seems like it's coming together pretty well. I'll be doing some more detail work here in just a moment. But one of the reasons, once again, that I decided to go with the Oster octanes and start using detachable blades is because of Sheer Fades. And Sheer Fades has a YouTube channel that you need to definitely check out, subscribe to if you're interested in blade fading. But he also has an awesome Instagram at Sheer Fades as well. That's SHEAR Fades. Check him out, man. I mean, the dude is amazing with these blades, and he's definitely inspired me to step my game up in this area. I try my best to be a very well-rounded barber, so I want to master every tool that I pick up, right? So anyways, now I'm using my cordless T-outliners just to, you know, knock out that little line. And I've told you guys before, you can hold your edgers the correct way and flick at that line to get it out, but if it does not come out, flip them over, because the moving blade will then be closer to the head, and start kind of flicking at that line with them flipped over. It seems to help. You'll notice I do it again here in just a moment. So now I went back to my OA blade and just was kind of touching some things up. So see here, I have my my outliners, and I'm just flicking at that line to make sure I get out any little dark spots or blemishes I don't like. But here I flipped it over because I can take it shorter there. So I'm going to work at that line that's there, and I went a little too hard with the shaver, so it's kind of difficult to get that line out. But I've told you before, whatever you put a line in with, you're probably going to need to take the line out with as well. So now I went ahead and just kind of touched that up with a shaver. I've been loving this color enhancement with the airbrush and the Kiss Express. I'm using a mixture of darkest brown and black and alcohol, and I can show you later on how to mix that. I don't like to go crazy like a lot of people do, where it's just solid black and it looks like someone painted it on. I want that more natural look. That's why I love the airbrush instead of just a regular brush. And I'm just lightly touching up these light spots there in the corners and just on his edge to make it pop, man, to make that thing sharp. And whenever I turned him around after doing the airbrush for the first time, he was sold. He was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. And what was cool is now most every single one of my customers feel the same way. They just love it, and it's something that they're requesting. Now, I started out doing it for free, but now it's an upcharge. You know, it's kind of like I wanted to get them hooked. So I started out for free, and then they're like, hey man, hit that color again. And now I tell them, you know, it's an upcharge. And sometimes, you know, I might charge a $5 upcharge or a $10 upcharge, but the bottle of color, you know, is only $5, and you can do like 1,000,000 heads with one bottle. So you know, for me, it's something I'm doing right now, obviously to make the cuts pop more, but it's fun as well. You know, I told you before, I get bored easily, so you know, it's something I enjoy doing. So now whenever I clean up people's eyebrows, I always use a 1.5 premium guard. I just take, well, excuse me, a 1 premium guard, but I open the blade all the way up, so like a 1.5, and I go over their eyebrows. To me, that's not too short and it's not too long. It's just the right you know, length. And then I'm coming in with the razor, just lightly cleaning up the eyebrows, pretty much keeping his original shape. But you know, if I see any hairs that are really disconnected from the bulk of hair, I remove them. I think cleaning up a person's eyebrows, man, just makes their whole face look cleaner. I think it makes the whole cut pop. You know, so I'll clean up on top and in between the eyebrows, and also on the bottom of the eyebrows, just to give it that nice clean look. I'm not into the female eyebrows for men. You know, I love female eyebrows on females, but not on men. So there's some people that get the real thin, skinny ones. I don't really like that, but I do like a clean man's eyebrow. I think it makes it look nice and sharp. So now that I've put our color enhancement and edged it up with the trimmers, I'm coming in and going against the grain with my razor, just to make sure that I clean that up or get any excess color that might have got on his skin, which really there was none. But it also gives it that nice ash line, man. You know, you get that little crispy white ash line on there. So boom, there is the finished product. I hope you guys like it. Once again, man, stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe, hit the notification button. God bless you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.